Anyway, we're going to talk about player-modder interactions here and refer to a few comments. But first, the story. This is just designed to teach this story. In 2006, 2007, a toolmaker said to me, "Can I edit your mods?" Or your mod? And I said, "Yeah." And then he came back into my forum with a version he edited and said, "This is a clean version. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He made all these dirty edits. I've cleaned it out. Stay away from his dangerous, dirty thing. Just use mine." Right? And then just proceeded to list all the issues he found. Sounded like he was being helpful, but no, he was being a knobhead. He was being aggressive. He was being attacked. He was holding me to account. Only to do it, he built himself a stage. He walked up on the stage, went, cleared his throat, and proceeded to conduct the orchestra of trolls who then would all attack me on his say-so, because he spent all his time on a forum building up a fan base, where I spent all my time in the editor making a mod. So I knew how to mod, he didn't. He didn't, as it turned out, even know how to use his own tool. Because he was very careful to list the items he cleaned and the dirty edits. So I brought up my change log and I went, "That's a fix I made, he's just got rid of the fix. That's a fix I made, he just got rid of the fix. Hang on a sec, he's just removed all my fixes. So that version he's got there has got all the bugs from the previous version back in, and probably a few more from before that, because he just removed all my fixes." Hang on a sec, his tool is misidentifying official editor fixes. He's thinking these little marks here listed as fixes are actually dirty edits, and he's cleaned them all out. Which means he doesn't know the editor works. He doesn't know this is how the editor does things. So he's just removed them all. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just pretending to. He's pretending to know what he's talking about to this crowd of Muppets. And this crowd of Muppets are attacking me on his say-so when he's actually ignorant of how to make mods. And he's set himself up. He left himself nowhere to back out gracefully by being such a dick and an arsehole and coming forward and trying to hold me to account. He stood up on stage, conducted the orchestra, fell flat on his face and humiliated himself, because the second I said, "Actually, these are all official fixes I made, and you just got rid of all my fixes because you didn't recognise the fact that the editor, this is how the editor fixes things. You just got rid of every fix I've ever made in the mod. It means every bug I've ever made is now back into my mod because you've just made it happen." Bang! Flame war. Right? He humiliated himself by making a grandstand show of things, and then I just pushed him off. I said, "Get off my stage, you. This is my mod, Fred. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. This is why. Proof, proof, proof." Boom. Suddenly, 10 years of him saying I don't know how to make mods, 32 Quest mods later, and not a single decent mod from him, says otherwise. But he was one of those holding modders to account types. He used the same kind of language the user on the my videos are using right now. I recognise where that goes. That's a very toxic approach to modding and mod usage, and it leads to mod makers quitting and walking away. It led to me going private. I would not make a mod publicly under those circumstances. So if this user here expects me to make mods and agree with him, I don't. I'd sooner not make any mods at all than deal with a single player like that. And quite frankly, just the fact that people are still taking that attitude is making me think twice about modding Starfield, because I don't want to be dealing with that nonsense. Because I don't have to. I can mod privately. People could come to my forum and I go, "Right, there's that guy, I don't want him on my forum." Bam. You know? And just release my mods to a private audience, like I did for, well, from 2008 to 2015, 7 years. I modded for a private audience. Some people have never even heard of my mods, you know. They only found out about them recently when somebody was asked me if I could release it on the Xbox, and I said yes. And suddenly you go, "Oh wow, well, how long has this been around?" "Well, this has been around for about 8, 9 years." "Well, I haven't ever heard of it," because it was private. Because I didn't want to share it, because I didn't want that attitude. Anyway, you think about it, right? This user here says he believes in holding modders to account, right? The word account, holding modders to account, that infers some kind of judgment. Like he set himself up as a judge. And it's what people immediately go to when they say holding modders to account. "I'm going to judge you. Kneel down before me and be judged." So anyhow, it's not a positive word to use. And just to let you be the judge, if I said I'm going to hold you to account, and 10 was super friendly and 1 was super unfriendly, where would you place that statement? I'm holding you to account. I'm being super friendly by holding you to account. Or I'm holding to account, I'm being super nasty and evil. Where would that be? It'd be about 3, wouldn't it? Right? If you're honest with yourself, you'd be about 3 because nobody sees holding to account as a good thing. It's entirely negative and toxic comment. It's also a very aggressive and angry way of saying I'm going to give you feedback and bug reports, right? Because he's choosing to use that particular language after several posts that all say angry to me. He's even admitted using mods makes him angry, right? So, or some mods makes him angry. That tells me he needs to stop using mods. He's got a problem, but he doesn't see it that way. He thinks I'm just barking up the wrong tree. And I haven't been making mods since 1980, like 42 years of dealing with that. And got this experience. I mean, he quoted he's in his 40s. I'm in my 50s, mate. And I was I started on the Vic 20. And I've been dealing with players like this for a long time. So that all says angry to me. That's his problem. That says gamer mental health to me, right? This is the problem I'm talking about. Because it shouldn't be made, modest should never make him angry. So let's recognise the fact that words like holding modest to account come with a meaning, and it's not a friendly one. It's an aggressive one. It's an over-the-top response to feedback and whatever. So let's go the other direction. Let's turn it around, right? This guy here comes on the forum, right, and instead of saying what he says, well, I like your mod, mate. Thanks for releasing it. It's really nice. I enjoyed these bits, but I've got a problem with this bit down here, right? I wish you'd clean this bit up here a bit because it's causing issues with all these mods here. Scale of 1 to 10, friendly, hostile. Where would I be if I had that approach? Would it be in the top half or the bottom half? It'd be above 5, wouldn't it? You'd be in the friendly zone. The attitude says the same thing, but it's a vastly different approach. Also, it's not toxic, it's friendly. So you go from holding people to account, angry at making mods or modders, to friendly, happy. Toxic, not toxic. This guy has got a toxic approach. I do not agree with it, right? The attitude I've just said has got him more likely for me to listen to him if he takes this good approach, less likely for me to listen to him if he takes that approach. I would never make a mod for that type of person. And if I knew the mod was going to be used by that type of person, I'd keep it private, right? So he would never see a mod to get angry at if I had my way. The one at this side would be personally invited to my forum to enjoy the mods because I like the interaction with players. I don't expect all interactions to be positive. I don't expect all interactions to be, good for me. Because sometimes I say, oh, that mod sucks, You made all these mistakes. I'm thinking, yeah, no, I'll get round to fixing it. It's all down to how you approach these topics. When I'm at work and I'm dealing with drug dealers and drunks and stuff, first thing I do is I walk up to go, hi, bud, how's it going? Tell me your problems. Instantly diffuse the situation. If I walked up to him and I say, I'm holding you to account, Mr. Drug Dealer or Mr. Drunk, what do you think is going to happen? I can tell you, because I've got workmates that do that finger wagging, holding to account routine. They get punched. 4 use of force forms a night in many cases. I get none. I'm walking off the site with them as best buddies. Because my approach works. That approach doesn't. That approach makes enemies. So the secret is you take it a much friendly approach. Like, for instance, our friend here, the holding users to account or modders to account, would never get his way. Modders would quit because of him. They would make less mods. The people that are making mods would be less experienced and they wouldn't stick around because the first time he said that to them, they'd leave. So you're talking lots of low-grade mods with lots of problems. He basically gets the exact opposite of what he says he wants, which are better mods. The friendly way, it feeds back into itself. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It makes the mods better and better. Everybody gets, happy with it. The player gets a short-term fix and his bug gets solved. The mod gets a long-term fix because it gets better and it stays good. Once you fix the problem, it tends to stay fixed forever and ever and ever. So, well, until someone Brexit again, like cleaning it out. But anyway, the thing is, right, the nicer approach builds communities, makes a thing feel happy, less toxic, enjoyable. And we're playing games to have fun, not to have the water poisoned by toxic comments like that. So it's important people recognise that the way they say things can be interpreted in different ways. And it doesn't matter how many ways they twist it in their own head, right? Says when you say holding people to account, they're not going to say he's being friendly. They're going to say he's being a twat. Right? They are. Words matter. Approaches matter. Says holding to account, that says you want to preach at me. Why the hell should I listen to an arrogant twat like that? Right? Says you want to judge me. If I said, okay, I'm gonna hold you to account, looks like you've got no social skills, mate. How would you feel? Because nobody likes being judged, and you don't get that kind of response, you know, from negative replies. You need to be on the positive side to avoid the flame wars of the past, and you can still get what you want. You can still get that kind of interaction, and get the better mod you want, and get your point across. But you do it in such a way where the whole thing is a much more pleasant experience for everybody. And that is what I'm after seeing. See you in the next one.